Hello, friends and followers. Good morning. This is Nurses Talking. I am Dale Barzi. And as always, if you like what you see and hear, give us a like, subscribe. So today, my guest is Ms. Gwendolyn Woody. And let me tell you something about this fantastic nurse. So when it comes to the phrase, your health is your wealth, there are a few people who embody it better than esteemed nurse and nutritionist Gwendolyn S. Woody. As the founder of the Wellness Loft, she educates and empowers women of color to kick the glucose habit and the sugar addiction and adopt a healthier lifestyle. With an innate compassion for helping others, Gwendolyn is living out her dreams as a licensed practical nurse. This career path has led her to step into her purpose and become a pre-diabetes lifestyle coach and a public health partner recognized by the Centers for Disease Control Prevention's Secure Access Management Services. Gwendolyn uses her decade of nursing and nutrition experience to educate others about overcoming health obstacles and not succumbing to generational illnesses. She is well known for being a truth teller who keeps it real with her clients, all while motivating them to achieve their health goals. Holding certificates as a nutritionist, diabetes care and education specialist, and weight loss coach, Gwendolyn continues to pave the way for hundreds of stressed and obese women of color to leave the unhealthy lifestyle behind by providing guidance, wisdom, and inspiration. When she's not in the trenches serving patients, working with clients, and contracting with governmental agencies and corporations, Gwendolyn still finds time to continue her quest to educate the masses. As a published author, she earned the prestigious ACHI Magazine Award. Your health is genuinely your wealth, and you can count on Gwendolyn to make you rich. So, welcome, Miss Gwendolyn Woody.
Thank you, Miss Dale. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you spending some time today talking to us. I have seen you and I've been wanting to meet you and talk to you for a little bit. So thank you so much.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay. So one of the first things I really always want to know is why people become nurses. So why are you a nurse?
I became a nurse because I sort of challenged myself. My grandmother attempted to become a nurse later in life. And then she found out that she had cancer and she succumbed to colon cancer. Then my mother, she also attempted to become a nurse. And, you know, she had 3 children. Her and my father were divorcing. So she decided the course for her was to continue in, you know, administrative work. So she didn't become a nurse.
And so you fulfill both of their dreams.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I see, so this opened up paths for you as an educator, so did that lead you directly into nutrition? How did that come about?
So it's funny that you asked that question because I was just talking about that last night. Over my life, I've had people in my family die from socioeconomic diseases that are preventable, right? But when I was a little girl, I just knew people were dying left and right. And I remember telling certain people in my family, no, you shouldn't eat this and no, you shouldn't eat that, not knowing at the time what I was doing or what I was saying. I was like, look, something is not right. So just my childhood alone, I guess this sort of foretold that I would be doing the work that I'm doing now. So in an odd way, yeah. In an odd way.
In an odd way, nursing and nutrition came together.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I need to go back to just a little bit to your nursing thing. As a nurse, what kind of areas did you work in?
Oh, I have been so blessed, especially because I'm a licensed practical nurse, and usually people limit licensed practical nurses to nursing homes, home care, wound care. yes, I've done all of that, but most of my nursing career, I have been fortunate to work the cardiac units, and not just like cardiac rehab, but cardiac IMC, pre and post-op cardiac and thoracic surgery, trach, vents, of course, strokes, new strokes at that. So,
Mhm.
a little bit of urology. I have truly enjoyed my time on the floor. Um, Last year was a little bit difficult, of course, for all nurses. I was on the battlefield, if you will, and I
Yes.
did work the COVID-19 units inside of the hospitals. And I've worked at teaching hospitals. I've worked at Johns Hopkins, um, Sinai, and also, well, Life Bridge hospitals because they have Sinai and Northwest. So I cannot complain about my nursing career. It's been good to me. It gave me a lot of experience, a lot of education, sort of tied it all in together
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm. 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 If you had to pick one of those specialties to go back into, which would it be?
It would most definitely be cardiac.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Why is that?
Yes. Cardiology has always been a little thing that I've loved. Even before nursing, I was fascinated by the heart. And, you know, our heart works without us telling it to
Yes.
work,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
it controls so many things.
Mhm.
And it feeds our body literally. Of course, our blood is processed with the heart and the lungs to clean, but the heart is the actual pump to take in and put out, take in and put out. That sodium potassium pump, it
Mhm.
works
Mhm.
effectively if we treat it right. So that is my favorite thing, cardiology.
Awesome. 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 So then you are in effect you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yes. So you have this company. So tell us about it. Wellness Works 8. First of
Yes.
all, how did you come up with that name? Wellness Works 8.
So everybody has wellness somewhere in their business, right? Um, and the actual LLC is called the Wellness Loft. Wellness Works 8. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I was on the SAMHSA website and I saw the 8 facets, which now they call the 8 dimensions of life. So I said that makes sense. 8 is a whole number.
Number. Yeah.
I mean, not just in nursing and behavioral health, but biblically as well. So I was like, let me do a little deep dive. So I said, Wellness Works 8. And I put E in works instead of O because
Mhm.
E is for endurance. If you want something, you have to have endurance. You have to build up endurance to withstand because you won't succeed otherwise. We can
Mhm.
allow ourselves to get lazy or we can allow ourselves to build and grow. And I choose to build and grow. And it doesn't have to be, you know, a degree thing. It doesn't have to be an age thing. It's just something that is human,
Yes.
right? We all want better for
Mhm.
ourselves.
Mhm. 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 Awesome. Awesome. So now that we've gotten past the name, what do you offer in from this?
So, Wellness Works 8 is more so corporate and contracting. Um, I recently have secured contracts to work with companies, um, business to business, business to government, and I'm well at it, fortunately. And basically, I do a lot of diabetes education, case management. We are going to be adding care management to that. And by the end of the year, we will also have BLS training added to that and community health worker training to that.
Mhm.
Um, I feel it is imperative that we open up more opportunities for health education in
Yes.
all arenas
Mhm.
of our life and business, even in church, right? I'm working on a contract with the church right now. I'm working to obtain the contract rather. So if there's an opportunity to teach how we can become healthier,
Yes.
there's a way. The other part of my business, I don't know if you knew this or not, is the social aspect, and that's the nutritionist and nurse. So there is more B2C business customer where, you know, someone may need to actually understand what their doctor is saying to them.
Yeah.
Someone may need one-on-one help with their diabetes. Someone may need education about nutrition, medication, their illness. And we all know that in healthcare today, our practitioners are busy, overwhelmed, and sometimes they don't understand our population, right? So I'm trying to meet the gap on both ends. I'm getting better at it as I go along, because it's a process, right? So I can't complain. The people that I have worked with most definitely have seen benefits. I even had one client where her physician fired her because I educated her so well, right? And that's what we need because health, you know, just like financial education.
Yes.
Years ago,
Yes.
you know, they didn't give us financial education.
That's right.
They most definitely did not give us health education. And we still don't have health education.
That's
Not
true.
the way that we should have it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. And so this is your goal. You are standing in this particular gap.
Listen, yes. And if God take me to the top of the CDC, I'm going to get there. We're going to see education on a whole nother level. Health education on a whole other level.
So, well, you know, that brings me actually to a question that I always want to know from nurses and already healthcare providers. It's like, what exactly is your vision? What is your wish? What do you want to see when you look out there? What do you want to see happen?
What I want to see is no more food deserts. What I want to see are grocery stores and food markets in my neighborhoods that actually have affordable, healthy foods.
Yes.
Because nutrition is really the key. What I want to see is physicians and practitioners that actually understand their patients. What I want to see is our people being more proactive and not scared to be proactive and not accept the fact that, hey, they gave me this prescription. I will take this needle. I will take this pill. But that's like a cover up, right? And sometimes that needle and that pill cause other
things,
diseases, right? And other complications. So that's what I really want to see our government take it more seriously. You know, it's a bunch of research, but nothing is being solved.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. So you just said something that to me is very important. You said you want to see people not be scared to be proactive. And to me, that's very important because people are scared. People feel they have no right to ask questions, and they have no right to be, you know, to ask the same question 3 or 4 times if they need to. Yeah. So, you know, that was something really that resonated with me when you said that, because that's so very true. People are scared to be proactive. They're scared to make an appointment with the doctor, let alone ask a question.
It's so many people out here that, you know, we go to the funeral and we eat the same thing at the repast that Uncle Johnny and Aunt Susie died from. And Mama had it, Grandmama had it, Auntie had it, Uncle had it. So I got to have it. That's a lie. That is a lie. You know, your family, I'm 48 years old. I have had over 27 people on my maternal side of the family succumb to diabetes and all of its comorbidities, including heart,
Yeah.
kidney,
Yeah.
everything. So we are losing quality, we are losing longevity, right? And we are not knowing who we are because those generations are gone. And there's so many things and times that people say, oh, he or she was such a great person. They could have added this, they could have added that. But we're missing out because we're not, we're not just dying by guns. Clearly, we're not. But we have the opportunity. COVID was like an awakening call, for everyone, we have to take our health more seriously. We have to be more proactive, and we cannot settle for just what someone tells us, right? We have to do the research. We have to ask the questions, and we can't be scared. I often tell people, like, you are going to the doctor, right? Not only are you paying the insurance company to pay the doctor, but you're also paying a copay to pay the doctor. The doctor is responsible to you. You are not responsible to the doctor. They have to give you an answer. And then the different specialties have to come together. That includes your pharmacist too. It's all a part of the process.
Yes.
So, but we don't know this, and we're scared to ask, to be proactive for our health, which is our life, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Miss Gwendolyn.
Yes, ma'am.
There are like just so many questions in my head that I want to ask you right now. But I see that you have a huge vision for this business of yours, and that's cool. I love that. So, what kind of obstacles did you face trying to set this up?
So, obstacles. The biggest thing was people telling me no. Especially, my family. They don't
I wanted you to say that.
Yeah, they don't even know that my business, they're part of the foundation of my business, right? Then financial, those, the no and the finances. I have bootlegged my business, and I cannot complain because I've learned many lessons. But in the very near future, I am going to be looking for more money from investors, contributors, just because it's time for me to grow a little bit more.
Exactly. So I want to ask you what you'd say is your greatest achievement, but already you've had so many that I in my head I can't even think. What is it? What is your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievements are my sons.
Okay.
They are my greatest achievements. I feel like when a woman gives birth, she gives birth to nations, and I have done that. I raised them as a divorced mother. I survived domestic violence, and my children are 25 and 23. They have made me so proud. So proud. I talk about them all the time. And the fact that they are contributing members of this society just makes me love them more.
Okay. That is, I couldn't have said that better myself. Your children are your greatest achievement. Absolutely. So what words of inspiration what advice would you give to someone who is, well, wanting to be a nurse or wanting to start out in this kind of business?
I would say if you want to become a nurse, really look at why you want to become a nurse, because it's not easy. It's not just about a check, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to become a nurse, I'm going to make this money, yada, yada, yada. when you become a nurse now in this age, in this society, you clearly have to have a plan because nursing is not what it used to be. Even over my 10 to 12 years of nursing, it most definitely has changed. So have a plan. Don't stay on the floor that long because I think the longer we stay on the floor, now if you love the floor, so be it. But I believe there's so much more opportunity for you beyond the floor, beyond the hospital, beyond the facilities, that you can really grow and see your nursing career turn into something greater and you can affect more people.
Yeah, that's so well said, because for me, one of the things I really want to see with nurses is that I want to see nurses sitting at the table. I want to see nurses making policy. I want to see nurses directing stuff,
Exactly.
because that's exactly what, except that we're not being recognized for it, but that's exactly what we're doing. And so we need to be seen doing it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, except having other people run with our our ideas and our creations.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So with all that you do, what do you do for self-care? What do you do to relax and to take care of Gwendolyn?
Oh my.
Because for me, that's very important. I don't talk to anybody without asking them what do they do for self-care.
I must admit, I am bad at self-care. I recently actually hired an assistant and she made sure that I had scheduled self-care because I will work 20 hours. I'll drink my coffee, I'll drink my water, I'll make a workout, but I'll come back and work. So recently, since I'm in New York, I took a walk around the Hudson. I went and got my hair done. I went and had some sushi. But ideally, when I come off of this contract, then I will go on a vacation, just me, myself, and I sit on the beach and just lay. But I also consider food my self-care. I love to cook. I'm primarily plant-based. So I love to come up with different recipes that are good, healthy, and encourage my mind, body, heart, and soul.
So I'm glad that you said that, because as you were talking about cooking and developing recipes and stuff like that, can I ask if a cookbook is anywhere in your future?
So that's funny. So the book that I'm working on now is for diabetes. I believe probably the year after a cookbook will come to fruition.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And so you are a published author.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about this.
So it's self-published. The book is called Brokenness Creates Wholeness. It's on Amazon, and I
Brokenness
wrote
what?
Brokenness Creates Wholeness.
Okay.
I wrote this book literally, was working night shift, cardiac IMC. I had a break and I literally just had like a napkin or something in my pocket. I took it out and my thought was, I want to write a book about how I succeeded at raising my sons in Baltimore. That never came to fruition. What happened was I started writing different topics, and it was more about how I healed after my divorce, right? So the book is small, but it's very insightful. Um, I don't want to call it religious, but it's more spiritual. It does have scriptures in there, it's spiritual based, and there are prompts for you to respond to the questions in the book. And it's not just for people that have experienced domestic violence or divorce, but any tragedy in your life that has taken you to a point of almost no return, right? Um, And it was sort of self-healing for me, even though I had already did the work. I still needed to write that to
Yeah.
say, okay,
Yeah.
this was my process. This is what others may learn from. Um, we all go through something
Yeah.
in our life,
Mm-hmm.
all, and we never know what will happen to us after we go through it. Sometimes we don't want to be honest and open with people to say, hey, I just can't do this anymore. And I can't say that I was ever at a point to say I can't do this anymore, but I was at a point to say I don't know what to do anymore, right? Um, and there I just gave everything to God. I poured myself into God. I was reading the Bible every day. And I was seeking wisdom. I was seeking counsel. I was looking for women that had been through things that I had been through. I was looking for encouragement. I was looking for energy, positive energy. Um, and I was seeking guidance, you know. And I don't know if you or your viewers believe in prayer and manifestation, but can I tell you that prayer and manifestation are just real? You know, like, and people say, oh, you're not supposed to, God has it written right there in the book. I don't care if you read the Torah, whatever, it's written there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So we have to look at our faith and see what we can draw from our faith, no matter what religion you are, you know, it's there. And all we have to do is ask. If I had not asked God and believed and planned, that book would have never came forth. I would not be where I am today, right? I would still be bitter. I would still be angry. I may still be working in a nursing home, complaining about my situation instead of planning to grow, right? You have to plan to grow. I don't care how old you are. If you don't plan to grow, you cease living.
yes, yes.
And we are all full of life.
Mhm.
We are all full of life.
Yeah.
So that's how that sort of came about. And literally in that one shift, and it wasn't even, of course, it didn't take that whole shift, but like 30, 40 minutes, I had the chapters written down and the title. So basically, I was in school at the time. The next day, I went to the writing lab and I got busy. And literally, I want to say within 3 weeks, the book was finished and hired an editor to look over it,
Yeah.
you know, and went from there.
Awesome. 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 And so I want to just skip around a little bit because as you talk, most of what you talk about seem to be kind of geared towards women.
Yes.
Kind of geared towards women. And
Mhm.
so in the things that you have undertaken, you know, as a nurse, as a coach, as a counselor, stuff like that, most of those things are female dominated.
Yes.
So my question to you is, how would you like to see, how would you like to see women grow in this? Because even though we tend to dominate those things, we still tend to think of ourselves somewhere as a second class citizen. And how would you like to see us break out of that and grow?
So we are not second class
I
citizens
know
at
we're not.
all. And I think, you know, some women forget that they have power, you know, and some women choose to hide their power.
That's the word. Mhm.
And we do not have to hide our power. Either, you know, your partner is going to decide to work with you or against you. And let me say this, honey, if they decide to work against you, you don't need them. You just don't. You don't. Don't don't allow someone else's fear to succumb
To
your
contaminate.
greatness.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Don't.
mhm.
You know, your field of energy, your aura needs to be filled with greatness. It needs to be fed with greatness. it cannot afford death to come in. Like certain words, terms of jealousy, right? Things that people just like, oh, okay. Why? You have to think. God created us as a woman. We have the power to give birth to nations. A man can't do that, right? Now, I respect men, highly respect them. But at the same time, they have to respect honoring me too, because I do have a purpose. I do have a will, and I'm not just a body. I'm not. And if you are intimidated by that, then maybe you need to evaluate yourself. Correct? We cannot be in relationships that allow us to make ourselves feel less than. We have to be in a nurturing, growing, loving relationship. And hence, loving. I want to go back to my marriage. When I was married, I did not know at that time, and I'm not bashing him, but I did not know at that time what love was. I didn't know what the love was that a man was supposed to demonstrate to me. I didn't know what it looked like when a man loved himself. All of those factors were not there, and I didn't know. Now I know. So we have to be mindful. The people that we allow in our field, in our energy, in our aura, are they loving themselves? If they don't love themselves, bye. How they say bye, Felicia? But I'm just saying, like, you have to give yourself grace and mercy. And the people that come into your aura, into your circle, they have to provide that energy. I always ask God, like, place the women that I can learn from in my community, in my presence. I don't have to know them. I don't have to speak to them. It may be an article about someone. Even at home, I have a vision board with women executives, right? Because I desire to be in that group. I desire to be there. I can learn from them from afar and still receive their energy. Right? To allow me to grow. I can learn from men executives too. And still receive from their energy that will allow me to grow. But I cannot be in relationship with a man that wants to stumble my growth. If he doesn't see what I have to offer in my greatness, does he even see it in himself? I can't be a part of that.
Yeah. And so I asked that question because as a nurse myself, I bump into so many women because it's just, female dominated. I bump into so many women who I feel don't know their worth. They work hard and they work well, but you feel that lack of self-worth, and that is something that I somehow try to communicate sometimes, that you're worth so much more than you I have to be honest and say that at some point that was me. And it the first time I recognized that that was me was when I went for a job. And in the interview, the person who was interviewing me said, well, so, what kind of salary are you requiring? And I had thought about it. I quickly gave back the number, and she said, really, is that what you think you're worth? I was like, oh. I did get the job. And the salary that I asked for, the salary that I got was actually 10,000 more than I asked for. And I realized at that point, I said to myself at that point, how come somebody could see what what I am worth, and I didn't see it. And that's when I started looking at and realizing, and once you start paying attention to something, you see it all around you. And that's when I started recognizing it in other people as well. So that's why I asked you that question. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us today. I really have admired you from afar. And I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to meet you and to speak to you today. It's been a privilege for me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.